Hey everyone, welcome to the Horror PSA presented by Scary Nerd, and as always, we are your hosts. I'm Paul.
I'm Saul.
And I'm Angie.
The following is a public service announcement.
On his way to becoming an immortal demon, a gang leader orchestrates the murder of an ex-con and his girlfriend. That's right, and I don't know why, but we watched The Crow Wicked Prey.
Yes, we did.
Yes.
And Saul is no longer allowed to pick. I'm just going to start off there.
Okay, so that answers my question because I was about to ask you what you guys thought of this.
I couldn't take it seriously at all. I laughed. I cringed. I was like, oh no, Edward Furlong, why? And the David Boreanaz,
Yes.
I had to make a lot of mean jokes that I can't make on the podcast while we were watching it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
But you all can agree with me that this movie was pretty bad, right?
It was
Yes.
See, Kim,
dumpster fire.
Kim over there thought that it wasn't bad.
There was no goodness.
Okay. Here's what I will say. I will give it props for being not just a carbon copy of the original movie. I mean, it tried to do its own thing a little bit,
But
to be a little bit different, but it was shit.
yes.
It was shit.
I have a story about this movie. As we all know, we all have something influenced by The Crow in our lives. Obviously, your guys' kid is named after Eric Draven. Mm-hmm. I have the Crow tattoo. So, in the beginning stages of the internet, when this movie was being filmed, because it got filmed 2 years before it got released, and it was in limbo for those 2 years.
Should have stayed there.
A lot of people kept seeing the screenings of it, so I was part of a message board where people were watching it and people were seeing it. And at the time, people were like, this is the best sequel ever. And on the flip side, there was other people that were like, this is the worst sequel ever.
Who are these people who are like, this is the best ever? Because I need to meet them and smack them in the face.
Yeah,
Who the fuck are these people?
So you had two sides of the coin.
Were they real people or just like studio people?
That's true.
But
you know what? Horror movies are notoriously fickle. Yeah. They really are.
So you have those people that were defending it to the T.
No. Who the fuck watched this movie? Okay. Let me just caveat this real quick. Okay. Unless there were a lot of fucking like cuts or some shit, like there was a whole other movie that they had that was actually good somehow, which I don't fucking know how. With all the acting that goes on in this movie.
No. I have my own
Cody
theories.
Fingers is acting.
So like I said, let's go back.
But who the fuck was defending this is my point.
That's the thing about it though too. So like I said, to me, I wanted to see this movie because I had seen everything else, and The Crow was my life and it still is. That's one of my absolute favorite movies of all time. But we can all admit the sequels were shit.
Yeah.
So when this movie was filmed and they were screening it, we live in Phoenix, which is notorious for not getting any sort of screenings at all. So all the screenings that were happening were in LA, certain cons. So people were seeing it, and that's what kept driving people to want to see it. When it finally hit, like a multi-chain theater or whatever you want to call it, it was only in theaters for a week before they're like, yeah, we're done. The studio pretty much only released it because so many people wanted to see it. And
you know way too much about this movie. I was like, this movie came out direct to video release because this was not good.
A new arrival.
You were like, oh, they made another movie, but I was like, no, was this an episode of Angel that just went off the rails and got folded into The Crow?
So
like, is that what happened?
That's why I was excited about this because, like I said, I know a lot of backstory about this freaking movie because I was one of those people that was like, I want to see it. Because I don't know where it's going to fall.
You had a lot of time on your hands in 2004, 2005.
I was a kid. I was, 20?
That's not a kid.
18.
Hey,
18.
Paul and I got married in 06, man. All right? So we weren't babies by any stretch of the imagination.
I was like in my early 20s. But anyways, so like I said, that happened. And then when I finally saw this, I admitted, I'm like, this movie is bad. Like,
okay,
he drew his crow face on with a fucking Sharpie.
Yes.
I was like, does that bitch have a Sharpie? And why in the opening is he in his trailer? Does it look like he molested a chicken of some
he had
sort?
like some fucking like rooster orgy or some shit. Like he fucked a gaggle of chickens.
There's so many things that just do not.
I thought, is he on parole for chicken fucking?
Chicken fucking, that's what it was. No, the whole backstory about him being a killer, it didn't make sense.
No. He's a crow for a different reason now in my head. Like, that goddamn chicken fucker.
But yeah, this movie was bad, and I like I said, this is why I picked it, because I knew it was going to be bad, and I knew it's gonna spawn a good conversation. I should say that.
Yeah, I don't know. You put way too much time into this movie. This was god awful.
I know it was bad. And rewatching it made me forget. Like I said, I knew it was bad, but again, when we rewatch these movies, remember how we said earlier, where if I have to suffer through a movie, somebody else is going to have to suffer through that pain as well.
I want my 99 minutes back.
I really do. Edward Furlong. Oh god.
Okay, I wanted to start.
It was cringeworthy. The whole thing. The whole movie.
Because I'm like, okay, I'm not a big like David Boreanaz fan or whatever, but I've seen him in stuff, and he's not a terrible actor.
This one, he's so hokey. I'm like, what is he doing?
Why is he just like terrible?
Well, no, and that's why, okay, so I never watched Angel. I did watch Buffy, and so I knew the character of Angel, but Buffy was different than Angel was.
Yes, it was.
And I had a friend who liked the Angels.
You watched Buffy?
I watched the later seasons of it, but I watched that and Angel.
I never
Dude, I am the epitome of nerd.
I never watched Angel. I couldn't get into it.
I'm going to find you a t-shirt.
A t-shirt? Yeah. Just a t-shirt? Okay.
Okay.
A good backstory?
I'm going to find you an Angel t-shirt.
Okay.
I'm talking to Saul, not you.
No,
and you have to wear it to the next con.
But there were storylines, like he got taken over by like demons and stuff, and like he would play this ridiculous like alter ego, you know? And so that's why I was like, what is this, an episode of Angel that just went off into the crow territory?
To me, and I've never seen Buffy, I've never seen Angel. To me, it sounds like the American version of Doctor Who is what you're fucking describing.
Yes, with the supernatural realm. With the supernatural, instead of aliens and stuff.
Which I've also never seen Doctor Who.
It was Joss Whedon before we found out he was a massive asshole.
Well, we all kind of knew. And if you've made it for a long time in Hollywood, chances are you're a massive asshole who touched people inappropriately for some reason. I don't know.
But again, this movie, it was just, there's so many things to me that just didn't add up. Because, okay, they're living on a reservation. So you're led to believe that these are all Native Americans, but yet they're Mexican.
All of them. I was going to bring that up.
Okay, yeah.
I was like, are any of them natives?
I'm like, this doesn't make any fucking, like, why are you interchanging Mexicans and Native Americans living on a reservation, but yet he's got... Like, oh my god!
And they totally wrote Lily in fucking Sharpie on Danny Trejo's belly.
The Sharpie budget for this, I think, there was no makeup. You had white makeup that he had to wear until the crow got hurt, and then his white makeup got washed away. But then it came back. Sharpie stayed.
Well, it's Sharpie, baby.
You had to have the Sharpie to write Lily on his belly for his crow dance scenes, which we will talk about later.
I told you there's just too many like comedic things that
the one-liners. Show them how fools dance.
You know what? What? If this movie had good one-liners, like I think movies can, like if you're a shit movie like this, but it had great one-liners, I'd be like, all right, that's pretty cool. I can get on board with that.
The one that always stuck out to me. But if it's
a shit movie with shit one-liners, like what? What's the point, man?
The one-liner that always stuck out to me, and even back then and now, is when Edward Furlong says, "Quote the Raven, nevermore, motherfucker."
Yeah, like, but he says it in his Edward Furlong voice. So
Edward. I couldn't believe him at any point. I was like, and the girl he's supposed to be with, I'm like,
dude, she's like way out of your league.
No, like this. Who didn't do a chemistry read for these two? Like, come on, no, I can't.
But again, that's still like we talked about it. The thing that didn't make sense is you have Native Americans, but yet they're Mexican. And if maybe, just maybe, Danny Trejo can pull off being a Native American, but when he says a Spanish word, when he says mija, I'm like, You just said a Spanish word. But
there was straight up fucking in the end when they get to iniquity. There was straight up fucking like cholos that were like these are Native Americans.
Yeah, in the cholo standard uniform, like in the flannel and the
and they get in there and they start doing the sign of the cross like Catholics do because they're Mexican.
Yes.
They're not and what is this? A strip club or a fucking a whorehouse? Right?
Nobody knows.
Well,
it was both.
It's den of iniquity. So I mean, obviously. But I'm saying, why are you doing the sign of the cross when you enter the whorehouse?
No, and if you look this movie up on IMDb, it is listed as action, adventure, comedy, fantasy, horror, and thriller.
Well, the comedy to me was
the thriller.
I don't know.
The whole thing was fucking comedy.
Yeah.
Where was the
Danny
horror?
Trejo's dance and
the acting. Wait till the greatest thing that I can say about this movie, and there's very few things I can say about this movie that are good. The makeup, because somehow in some way they managed to make Tito Ortiz look like a Mexican.
He's half.
Okay, but I'm saying they made him look like a Mexican, but his acting was so fucking bad.
Yes.
And what the funniest thing that I think I've seen in regards to this whole movie, I looked at Tito Ortiz's page, and there was a quote right when you go on his page from some producer that's like, "He's the next Vin Diesel."
Oh my gosh!
Who's Tito Ortiz?
He was an MMA fighter who
Famine.
Yes.
I've seen him in other things.
He hasn't been in much, but he's
Jenna
an MMA
Jameson.
fighter. Yeah, he was married to Jenna Jameson.
No,
He's
but
married to her for a while.
No, I picture him fighting still, like doing like martial arts shit.
He was in MMA.
We had his hair was dyed blonde when he fought, and he wore shorts that had flames on them.
Yeah, no, that's not gonna.
That's like
ring
half
my
the
bells.
dudes in MMA. That
Chuck
doesn't
Liddell
sound
kicked his ass a bunch of times.
You think I know who Chuck Liddell is?
Anyways,
the costume that Andy wore in Parks and Rec.
Okay.
Halloween episode.
Parks and Rec, Andy. Got it.
But yeah, there's just so many things. Like, well, the other thing about it though too is like Dennis Hopper.
Dennis, why were you in this? Who did you owe a favor to? Dennis
not
Hopper?
just
money. Okay, I wanted to start.
Was it though?
I wanted to start this thing off with saying, what if there was a movie where everyone phoned it in?
Yes.
I don't know, man.
Well, the thing that got me even back then that did get me now is Dennis Hopper's like, rest his soul, but what was he going for?
See, I've only seen Dennis Hopper in a handful of things, and they're mostly older things.
Yeah.
Besides like Speed, which I guess is fucking old now. It's about 30 years old.
It
now.
is very old. It was old when I was a kid.
And then like older stuff like Easy Rider and like other shit like that. But I'm like, I always thought he was supposed to be a good actor.
Yeah, I don't know.
But then you see him in like fucking Waterworld and shit.
No, I was like, is he ripping off his Waterworld?
Yeah, well, no, what I'm saying, like,
character?
If you can just be the same fucking character in a bunch of shit movies for, 20, 30,000 each, why the fuck not?
I really think
it's
that
money.
somebody was like, here's a couple grand, Dennis Hopper. Just say homeboy and shorty and a bunch of nonsense
That's the
about
thing.
it.
Like the words he was using was probably lingo from back then, and I don't get it. I don't get it. He was the most dated out of all of the characters.
Keeping it real, OG. And I'm like, why?
Yeah, I was like, no. Oh, I knew this movie was going to be...
So do people in mining towns talk like that? Is what we're led to believe?
I don't know.
Okay, what was the point of the whole mining thing? Because, again, right, the Luke Crash guy was like, I'm going to go take revenge out on this tribe. But then in the beginning, like, famine and pestilence are killing the miners, too. I'm like...
See, that's
I'm
what I
so
don't get either.
confused. Why are we just killing everybody?
Yeah, because I was like,
Exactly.
at first when I was like, okay, I had no clue what was going on in the movie.
The first thing I noticed, I was like, that's Tara Reid on a gun, and right away, don't believe it, never gonna believe it, nope, can't even get into the movie right now.
I'm not gonna make fun of her about her substance abuse issues, but I would not trust her with a gun. If it was like, I'm gonna bust out of prison, put Tara Reid on the thing, she can distract people at the mine. She's good at that.
There you go.
She can distract people. One of you guys come up there with the gun and shoot my chains. But no, I didn't read anything except for the synopsis or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then I was reading the characters, and I'm like, wait, cult leader? I'm like, okay, so this is more like a devil cult angle. Okay, so in the beginning of the movie when they're doing like the whole famine thing where he's like poisoning people, I'm like, all right, are we going for like a Children of the Corn kind of thing where they're like killing all these people,
like a true thing like that? Yeah,
and I'm like, all right, well that'd be kind of cool. But then I'm like, what? So I'm like, you're pissed about the mine closing, but then you're killing the miners. Then you leave the gate open so the other guys can come in and start like Molotov cocktails and shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it was there. It was so
like,
convoluted.
Which side are you on? Or was their whole point just to fucking like, we don't care, we don't want a side. But then, like you said, death or crash or
he
whatever
wanted
he wants
to
call
take
himself.
revenge on the tribe.
Yeah, it was like he's mad at the tribe, and he would use that against like the mines. You know, they're going to close you out of your job for war and stuff like that, and like to pump him up about doing shit.
Well, I remember Famine. The reason why he wanted revenge is because they didn't view him as. Again, I don't know if they were supposed to be Native American or if they were supposed to be Mexican.
Well,
but
his little
they said that
placard thing,
they said he was half.
his video game,
his little
still shot.
because he was half.
He's half-breed.
He's a half-breed.
Rejected by the natives that aren't there because they're all Mexican.
Yeah, and then what is it? War for
Maybe
what?
okay. Wow, I just realized this is a futuristic movie, and they're going to put us all in camps. We're going to get reservations. They're going to put all the Mexicans in camps.
Again, that's just
It's a future movie, like a Leprechaun was last week.
yeah.
this movie was so confused because it really didn't know what it wanted to be. Again, it was just the confusing of everything.
See,
It was
like-
just one giant fucking clusterfuck.
So like when he was poisoning all those people, and I was starting to get like Children of the Corn vibes. I'm like, all right, if we're gonna go and like we just want to kill
Yeah.
the whole town, like, and you're raising the devil and shit like that. Like I'm like I could get in on this, but I'm like, nope, that's where are you going now? Like,
Oh, no.
you started off on this path, and then you're like, nope, fuck it, we're just gonna run over this way.
As soon as David Boreanaz put that mesh shirt on, I was like, oh no.
Yeah, I'm like, luckily he was able to wear
No.
those jeans in that. It looked like snakeskin print at first.
Yeah.
Like his shiny tank top is what I called it. I think it's a shiny top.
I guess
yeah.
if you were, running a satanic cult in the 2000s, you had to have the mesh t-shirt.
gotta have the mesh
it was
t-shirt.
just, it was a prerequisite.
Yeah, I
It came
remember
with the starter pack that you get when you sign away. You send off to get your I'm
clothes.
starting a satanic cult.
Your clothes change as soon as you sign the package.
Yeah.
with the
You get a
devil. It's
package
Like,
in the
oh
mail.
man, never mind. I
You
don't
know what
wear this shit.
I really love too is when people are like, "Oh, I have the mark of the beast on me," but it's clearly like the 666. That it would never be written like that if
No.
the Satan wrote it.
I know. And
Like,
it's like
no one's
why
writing
would-
a 6 the way we write 6, guys. Like that's not how that would look ever.
and everything's always in English.
Yep.
Yeah. Never. Yeah. Because the devil caters to you. Okay.
And why
To
did they
where
have
you're
to have
geographically-
sex? I was so confused. I'm like, okay, so they get married. She stabbed him. He
Yeah.
comes back to life, and then they still have to have sex.
Probably
Well,
something
see,
about how birthing
the-
the devil child or whatever you want to call.
The stabbing was to keep him for the night, but then the sex was we had to seal the deal forever.
This just seems
It's like a green card marriage, okay? If you don't have sex, it's not a real marriage.
Yeah, you have to
And
consummate the marriage.
and he can't stay in he can't stay on Middle Earth or where the fuck we
He
are.
can't stay in a
unless
reality.
he's married, and you have to consummate the marriage.
they have
to
It's
consummate
not
the
a real
marriage.
marriage. So basically, if you don't have sex, the marriage was annulled, and he has no green card wedding. Has to go back to hell.
I love how they did the hocus pocus ending too, where the sun comes up.
Oh yeah, we had to do it before the sun comes up.
And you gotta look at my eyes. Look at my eyes.
Eyes, you gotta look me in the eyes.
All right, let's talk about something about this movie.
All right.
Where do we start with this fucking movie?
Oy.
The chicken fucker bus.
Yeah.
What was it?
Yeah.
And I love how they're just so racist. Engine lover, like
Engine killer.
I was like, what?
Engine killer.
And no, it had said lover first, and then they crossed it out and wrote killer. And again, so he killed somebody,
Which we find out later.
was trying to rape her, and everybody was like, we're angry at him still?
At the Enchantment Under the Sea dance.
Yes.
Yeah,
I was like, but he was like, that was clearly like that dude was trying to
Yeah,
rape
okay,
her.
okay. Let's talk about that kid that he killed, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think we ever knew his name or whatever.
I don't remember
They
his
may
name.
have said it, but who gives a shit, right?
Star football player,
Star
I
football
think
player.
is what they
Yeah.
called him.
So, I mean, that could be his Indian
name.
name because
Yeah.
it was Lily Ignites the Dawn. I'm like,
Yeah.
can we change Dawn to Dynamite? I want a cooler name than like Ignites the Dawn. No,
Mm-hmm.
Lily Ignites the Covered Wagon, you fucking
Yes.
bastards.
And
Like,
it's just so much cultural appropriation. That's
is
what
so-
it is.
Okay,
It's so much.
So star football player dies because he was gonna rape Lily, right?
Yeah.
That was Lily, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm gonna rape you on this park bench outside. And
in front of everyone.
In
but
the middle
only
of the
Jimmy
day.
is going to
middle
come.
of the day.
No, yeah, well, in the middle of the day, and then everyone comes out and is watching you rape this chick, and then Jimmy's like, I'm gonna kill you, bastard. And he actually does.
Yeah.
And then Jimmy's in the wrong for some reason.
See, Quizek, that's why that would be manslaughter.
Yeah,
It's because Jimmy's poor. Jimmy could afford a decent attorney. This is how the law works.
But okay, but I don't understand why everybody's like, still, oh, he killed somebody. Like, bitch, but did you see? Like, y'all all
see
saw.
what led up to it?
No, but here's the other thing that I'm like, none of this shit makes sense. Because I really think that they just threw a bunch of stuff in and eliminated a lot of characters to save money. Because we come to find out later that somehow these family of the kid that he killed his dad killed Crash's dad somehow because he robbed the collection box of $50, less than $47.66 or some shit like that, he says. So I'm like, and then they show the shrine to their son, to star football player, and it's like them holding him as a baby. I'm like, so what point was your dad out robbing fucking people, but then came home to be a good dad and all this other shit?
No. I loved how in the whole pictures, next to the baby pictures, they also had the newspaper with the mugshot of Jimmy.
Because that's the only thing that has star football player's name on it. Star football player.
Star football player was murdered by this guy. And that's what you would want to remember your son is the mugshot of the dude who killed him.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, so the family that had a rapist son that got murdered by someone has a dad in that family that also murdered someone else, but yet Jimmy's the one that they all call
Jimmy's
killer.
The asshole, yeah.
But Jimmy's the asshole.
Well, he was white trash, so they all had a common enemy.
Can we talk? Yeah. But they were all white trash. David Boreanaz wasn't doing great things, and Lola was fucking...
I know, because at first I thought, like, maybe he just... Because he was like, I always looked out for you. And I thought maybe he just met him in prison and was like, all right, he took him under his wing because Jimmy's a little shit,
the
doesn't
crash
belong in
and burn thing,
yes.
I was like, oh.
But then it's like, ever since we were little kids, I'm like, so you've all grown up in this town. Mm-hmm. You've all, like, you're still doing your county service in this town.
Yeah.
And I love that they let Jimmy just walk into this fucking funeral when he's shackled to his ankles or his shackled to his waist with his arms. I'm like, what? Like, these guards are just like, fuck it, we're on break. We don't care what the fuck is.
And I love those little like flash, baby, I miss you, but you can't be here. Like,
no,
bitch,
there were 8 scenes in this movie, and 5 of them we watched 6 times over again.
Yes, just with red overlays over them. Yeah.
This was another one of those movies where it's like 5 minutes in, we gotta do a quick recap.
We gotta show you everything we just did, guys. Don't worry, in case you missed it. It's all here again.
In case you fell asleep, here's a quick recap of the movie so far.
And well, the other thing about it though too is,
but stay tuned for Old Man Titties dancing in the end.
How he came back immediately. Because even in...
He was so confused about why he was back, too. I was like, did they just not tell him what movie he was in? He's like, wait, I thought I died in this movie.
What the fuck is going on? Sir, we're still filming that movie.
Well, they cut his heart out. They put him in, the refrigerator.
Oh, no, the cut down.
That's the fridge Mama used to put me in.
Yep.
No, Mama.
I know, I'm like...
Tito, you're Mexican again. That's the fridge Mama used to put me in. No, Mama.
I was like, they're having fucking therapy right now. I thought
he was going to start crying.
Famine and pestilence are fucking having a therapy session at the toxic waste dump.
I don't know if it's fucking Tito Ortiz's horrible shit fucking acting or just the way that his fucking character was meant to be, but he gave me that real, like, fucking... Do you remember in Looney Tunes where they had that big fucking monster that was like, oh, which way did he go?
Yes, I will love him and pet him and squeeze him, yes.
I'm like, that's like... That was his character. That's the fridge Mama used to put me in. No, Tito, you're Mexican. So, okay. The fridge Mama used to put me in.
There's so many cringy scenes in this movie.
Purgatory.
Not all of them are even acting. Some of them are just like stylistic choices. I'm like, why are we having a party
with all the devils? So while we were out fucking disposing bodies, you were fucking making cake.
Deviled eggs.
Why are her hands covered in blood when they get back? When they were cooking,
food cake.
They were cooking.
Apparently they made this before they went and cut out that bitch's eyes.
No, they were prepared.
Because they all get back to the house at the same time. I don't know what they were doing while the other two were disposing of the bodies.
That was the other 3.
No, all of them get back at the same time.
Well, they all have their own cars with their own custom paint jobs, and they're like,
so those guys are somewhere else.
How does no one know these people in town? They drive around with fucking custom paint job cars. There's got to be one shop in the whole fucking town that
and
can
no
do this
one's
shit.
even looking for that guy who escaped from prison.
Apparently, on the white side of the fucking road, there are
police
no
either.
police.
Well, here's the other
literally, they fucking have a whole thing at the mine. They have the whole fucking. They just walk in where the fuck they want and do what the fuck. No police looking for them. You don't hear a siren. You don't hear. And the only fucking thing is you got fucking Lily's brother's like. Just goes to bother Jimmy, who had to steal some little girl's bike to get to the fucking the scorpion stand. Was he selling those scorpions?
I don't.
Is that how he
even
makes
know.
money? He fucks chickens and catches scorpions.
Well, here's
is
the
that
thing.
what we're led to believe in this fucking movie?
Well, the one thing that was funny is he couldn't get his Pinto General Lee to start.
Oh no, that is the fuck. Well, that's the Private Lee. I decided to call it. I'm
The
like,
Private
you did
Lee.
not call that General Lee. That little fucking shitbox is the Private Lee. Okay.
But the other thing that made me laugh too is when they got back to whatever their hideout is after they just killed Lily and after they just killed Jimmy, they had all of a sudden grew a conscience because they're all sitting there like thinking about, man, we really killed.
Well, they
those
just had
people.
low blood sugar.
That's what it was.
Well, the
They
thing
just
about it
needed
though is
to
like
eat.
they were totally okay with going into that little general store that she was working with.
It's been a long day. They haven't.
They were
eaten
okay
anything.
with all the murder and all the stuff that they did, but by the time they get back to the little lair hideout, they have some sort of remorse because they're sitting there like.
I thought that was a weird choice too. I was like, throughout the whole movie, he has to like egg them on about it. Like he is.
He has
even
to
with
all
Lola,
for it. The
even with
beginning of it,
Lola, he has to be like, "Come on, don't fail me
has-
now."
In the
Like
beginning,
what?
they're all for this mayhem, and then they finally do it, and then they're like, "Oh shit!"
He has to have
actually
like
did it?
3 fucking General Patton rallying speeches
Yeah.
in this fucking movie for no fucking reason.
And he has to make up shit. Like he's like, does it matter that your brothers died in the? I'm like, what brothers? He's got brothers now. What?
You're the closest thing to Montezuma's Revenge, and yours your casino. I'd eat that shit up, bro. That doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense.
You're gonna eat casino prop? Like you mean you're gonna be a fat dude? Like what does that mean?
I'm like, are
Where's
you gonna
your
give him the
casino?
shits? I don't understand this Montezuma's
Time for
Revenge.
Montezuma's Revenge. I'm like, is he gonna put KO pectate in the fucking
Yes, that's
punch
what
bowl?
he
Like what the
said.
fuck is
there's-
that? Okay, let's talk about how no one in this fucking town leaves.
Can
No,
we
no,
also
no.
talk
No,
about
no.
how terrible Raven Fest was as a party
okay,
overall?
because I want to get to that, right?
Oh, this is good.
Why does no one in this town leave? And I don't mean like leave to another town. I mean like there are fucking people
I know.
fucking he's
Killing
got a
people.
bat and he's breaking shit.
dying.
But then they go to the next shot when Jimmy shows up and there are people just standing in the background again.
Yeah.
Like just hanging out. I'm like, that he just killed a dude.
Just kill the guy over there.
He just fucking killed a dude who got a baseball
To
bat.
be fair, though, it happens every year.
Well, here's the other thing that I thought-
I'm like, well,
Apparently.
someone always dies at Raven Fest.
Here's
Why
another-
should this year be different?
Here's a booger
Why
thing.
are there still 20 people left to
Exact-
shoot
yes.
under the big fucking sheet on the fucking
The sheet,
ceiling?
yeah.
The thing that I thought was funny is
Wait,
how.
hold on. Why does she need a spell to make that fucking thing fall in the stupid book?
Falls
The guy
out.
had a gun.
Yes.
Fucking Tank, brother of Dozer, had a gun right there. It was just sitting there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's where I no.
Yes, the Matrix.
Yeah, the Matrix.
Brother of Dozer.
But the thing that cracked me up though too is when Tito Ortiz gears up in his catcher's
Guys, gotta stop
gear.
saying that. I don't know who that is.
Famine.
Famine.
Okay.
Famine.
Famine the fucking...
When he gears up and he
the
puts on all of his
fucking-
catcher's gear and then he starts going ape shit and all of a sudden it just disappears and the only thing he has is the baseball bat.
No, I also loved his like setup where he's like putting the catchers. I'm like, why are you
Like I
putting
said,
that on there?
He's putting on his
Who's
catcher's
gonna
gear
hit
and
you
then
back?
it
Because
disappears.
people don't even
Again,
see anything you're doing right
it's
now.
not even the native Mexican side is what I'm gonna call it. It's not even their side because when they were at the fucking the mine and War pulls out that rifle, I'm like, why is no one running?
Yeah, not
He's
at
got
all.
The
gun.
guys next to him, the guys on the other side of the fence, and like someone should be, got a gun. Anyone?
No, nobody.
Okay.
And where did all the little kids go in the beginning? Like, there were no people in this town besides the ones who died
And then they
that
just showed up?
were rallying around.
Yeah, and they just ran away. And I'm assuming that was the white side. So you didn't see them anymore. 'cause
So they killed all the. That's what happened. What was her face? Lola killed all the cops from the white side, the two that were
the
there.
children of the corn did. No,
Yeah.
because didn't 2 of them leave to go to the riot at the mine?
Yeah.
What happened to them then?
They're still there, apparently.
Still sorting it
They
out.
exploded in the toxic sludge. Like, let's talk about Chosen for a second. And his name's not Chosen in this movie. His name is Pestilence in this movie. But he was chosen in what movie?
I know him from.
Angie doesn't remember. No. Come on, Kim.
I know him, but I'm drawing a blank.
The Asian cowboy is who I'm referring to.
I know. Damn it,
No.
I know him from somewhere, but
He looks familiar, but
I'm drawing a blank, and when you say it, I'm gonna be like, damn it.
No?
Kim's looking him up.
No, she's not.
I know him from somewhere.
No, you can't look him up. I know it. All right. He's the goddamn villain in Karate Kid Part 2 when they go to fucking Japan and they go to Okinawa. He's the villain. He's the main dude, man.
is that the one with the bonsai trees?
No,
No,
the second
that's
one
the
where they go to
third one.
Okinawa.
When they go to Japan and he has to fucking...
My mother forced me to watch those. I've deleted them from my brain, guys. So.
It's when they go to Okinawa.
Guess what we're doing this week?
Not that.
Uh-huh.
This is something completely different,
What?
but young villain from Karate Kid 2 always remind me of Kenny Blankenship from MXC.
From what?
Remember Most Extreme Elimination Challenge? When they dubbed it?
Don't get eliminated.
I vaguely remember that one.
He reminds me of him. I don't know why, but he just does.
Yeah, what was his character? I mean, because was he just dying the whole time?
He
that was
was
his thing,
just
right?
dying, yeah. He
Like,
just
like, I'm
liked
dying
toxic
anyway.
waste
Like,
and to hang out
and
in
like
it.
Because why did he spray that milk on him?
Nobody knows. No one
He took a
knows.
fucking milk bath at the back of his El Camino.
Yeah.
He was the one that never needed the pep talk, though. Like, he came in and grabbed some
He
double
came
eggs.
in, he's like,
and
double eggs, okay.
He's like, peyote double eggs, I am here for it.
I love how death / crash / the devil / whatever
he
is
is.
like, go down and score some more peyote. He just throws cake on his neck.
Yeah, he does.
Like,
Yeah.
he just like
Hey.
right on his fucking neck, and I'm like, that's
He's
peyote,
still-
baby.
He's still got to go get more peyote. He can't kill him.
But he straightens up and he goes down there and it's
Yeah.
like, I need peyote.
It's like, look, you can throw some cake at
what
me
the
as
fuck
long
was
as
he
you-
eating?
I don't know.
Bugs and
Okay.
pasta? I don't know.
Let's talk about his death. His fucking ridiculously stupid fucking death on the tiniest little fucking bug zappers I've ever seen in my life.
Yep.
That, how would that electrocute him?
I don't know.
Exactly how would that fucking electrocute
I was
anyone?
I couldn't look at anything, but I'm like, is that how you spit, Edward Furlong? Don't spit at that. You are the weakest spitter I've ever seen in my life, bro.
Is there something wrong with your mouth?
Drink more water. Are you dehydrated?
Speaking of spit, when fucking Tone Loc, who's driving the hearse, gets the shit scared out of him by Jimmy, like, blah! And like fucking a gallon of spit falls out of his mouth. If you watch it, it's like, blah!
I was like, what was that? Why?
Really, Tone Loc?
Is that really Tone Loc?
That's not Tone Loc.
Okay, I was gonna say that couldn't have been Tone Loc, but again, I was like, "What is that character? He couldn't even finish his fucking burrito before he goes and picks Lily's body up."
He's multitasking.
He's like, and he's not very good. Like, I love his scenes because he's terrible. And every one of them, when he's running down the highway, I'm like, you can't even make it look like you're running without making it look like you're trying.
Why are you trying
run.
to run up? Like, you think you're gonna like start walking on
And, like,
air? Like,
Did they give you shoes that were too big, and that's why you can't like run?
run.
Really?
What?
I was like, run, no,
Like,
run,
what
run.
is this?
He's like, I am, no, not like that.
He
Running this
stole
kind of
my
run.
hearse. What?
Man, this is some bullshit.
Another thing that I just couldn't take it seriously. And again, it's because I grew up in the 2000s. Well, I didn't grow up in the 2000s. I was an adult in the 2000s. But the hair. I was like, you look like Harry Potter. I can't not see it.
Especially when he threw the black.
Yes.
It's a good thing that
And he's walking in the wind and it's all like feathered back.
it's
I'm
a,
like,
it's
oh.
a good thing that Crash left that jacket in there. He couldn't have
Yes.
the crow look. Because he's got the Sharpie at home.
Mm-hmm.
As one thing he does have in his shit shack bus, whatever the fuck
Is
is
a
it.
good Sharpie.
His chicken fucking shack.
Oh my gosh. The thing you got to think about it though too is
It's a racing case.
you have to try to you have to see, or you have to try to get some sort of intimidation factor as this person who's coming back from the dead.
Especially especially if you have it that he's going up against the fucking devil.
Yeah.
Like,
And
it's like, okay, you have two people that cannot die right now.
And it's Edward Furlong.
So you take all advantage away from
with
him.
a shitty haircut, Sharpie makeup, and just happens to be
a literal No,
Oh my
like
God.
when he had the match, right? I was like, oh, he's lighting his eyeliner on fire, because sometimes you gotta light an eyeliner on fire to get it going. I grew up in that time frame, but I was like, nope. He throws it, lights the thing on fire, and then Sharpies it on it. I was like, no.
Okay.
Ugh.
When he does the whole Sharpie thing and he's burning his shit shack down or whatever.
Yeah.
When he's looking at the wall and there's those Polaroids there.
Yeah.
I swear there's one where it's somebody's butt, but they drew over it. They drew like a smiley face over it. Because I'm like, I paused it. I'm like, that's a butt. Like, that's a Polaroid. Like,
No, let's talk about that. But the whole thing about not believing it. We have to go back to that scene between the mother of star football player and the crow.
oh yeah.
It's so bad. Again, who skipped these chemistry reads? I was like, what are we?
Okay.
There's a point where he's like cradling her head, and I was like, is he gonna make out with her right now?
Yeah.
What is going on in this scene?
Jimmy's here for you, baby.
Like, what are you doing?
Okay, I don't want to say anything bad about people from Utah, which is where they filmed this. But in regards to the acting, I did point out to Angie last night when we were like, oh, it's filmed in Utah. So was Troll 2. And we all remember the acting in that movie. So I'm going to say again, like, this looks like it might have been a town they were like, all right, just go to the fucking convenience store and just whoever's standing around, just tell them we'll pay.
Rile them up, give them $50
We'll
each.
give them $50 and tell them we're going to be in a movie.
Well, this was in 2000. We'll give them $20 each before inflation hit.
Mining town. What are they?
I love the backstory too, when it's like, they said the smelting would make a mess, so I let them drain the lake. You let somebody drain your lake? What?
Danny Trejo's character of Harold, who again I don't know why
Harold, the Mexican Indian.
Yes.
the Mexican why
whose daughter Lily ignites the dawn,
Lily
and then
ignites
Tanner.
the dawn, and okay, there's also things where they kept referring to her blue eyes, and every close-up, like,
Yeah.
this,
she does not have blue eyes.
doesn't have
She has
blue
what,
eyes.
brown
She has
eyes?
brown eyes.
Like,
She's
she
clearly
had dark eyes.
You couldn't spare the fucking contacts money. Like, just one less Sharpie somewhere, because the David Boreanaz fucking back tattoo, that was all Sharpie as well.
Yeah.
For the 2 seconds they show when they were cleaning his
Yeah,
hair.
I don't
He had to
know.
wash his hair before he could turn into Johnny Cash, before he could turn into the devil. Like,
They were preparing him for the wedding.
no, you know what it was?
I
It was
don't know.
fucking Crybaby. That's what it reminded me of. It was Johnny Cash, but then I'm like, no, it was Crybaby.
It was
That's where
Crybaby.
his jacket
Yes.
reminded me of, not Johnny
His
Cash.
whole persona is crybaby-ish.
Yeah. But
I
then
don't
again,
think
let's-
he could decide what his fucking persona was. And why is the devil so, like, he played the devil like so, like, he had like a horniness for like fire or something. I don't know. He had a weird, like,
I don't
when he was describing like, oh, the apocalypse, like Saudi Arabia, we're gonna find.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
Like, why is he like this?
Let's talk about.
Okay, let's get to it. We've mentioned it a little bit too much and we've teased it, but let's talk about Danny Trejo's Fat Man dance.
That's the
Do you
GG
really
shake.
Do you really call it a dance if all he does is like move his arm and shoulders?
It was the crow dance.
He
He,
has,
had to
like-
do the crow dance.
It again, it looked like he was like trying to fly, like he was just like had this weird, like, your titties aren't gonna carry you off into the air. Danny.
No, I was like, they really just were like, okay, guys, we just want you to do like a Native American dance. Action.
Wait,
Well,
what?
Danny was like, what?
That's what they did, and like, everybody around him was just like, okay.
And then Trejo was like, "You realize we're all Mexicans, right? We don't know."
We don't know how to
They
dance
were all
that way."
confused. I was like, nobody gave these boys any direction.
I'm sorry, Mr. Trejo. There are no Indians in Utah.
But why were they having
What?
this weird high school dance for the tribe?
I don't know. Again, something that they
I was
didn't explain.
confused about, like,
Okay, you mean the Enchantment Under the Sea dance?
yes.
and then Ravenfest. I was like, wait.
Okay, well, they made it seem like Ravenfest was like a dance, but then you get there and I'm like, is this an art exhibit? Like,
Yeah,
what the
I
fuck
know.
is this? Because
Yeah.
they walk in and I'm like, there's paper mache, there's like set pieces, and then fucking Tara Reid's just having fucking charcuterie and fucking
She really
wine.
is. She's just sitting there.
And I'm like, cause he walks in and like she just hands him a glass of wine. I'm like, you're just gonna fucking this cheese and shit, like.
There's when Tara
And
Reid.
charcuterie is stupid, by the way. It's a fucking adult snack, like Lunchable.
It is. It's an
Adult
adult
Lunchable.
Put it on a piece of something fancy and charge me $100 for it.
Tara Reid, throughout this whole thing, I was like, why?
Tara Reid, I'm not gonna say it.
No.
Throughout the whole movie is why.
But there's this one point where he's like, give me I think it's War asks her to like, give me a vision or something. He's like, give me a little look into the future. She's like,
Oh, yeah.
I see Devil rising and he's going to make all your dreams come true. I'm like, why?
Yeah, because that
why
sounds
can't
feasible.
You say,
And then
You're
he's like
gonna
the most
die a
awkward,
horrible death.
Okay, I don't want to say he's a bad actor, but he made some interesting choices with the character of War.
Yeah.
Because War was very like up and down.
all over the place.
But did you see War's reaction when they were going to light that priest on fire?
Yeah, he was like,
He had a weird like hand ticket. He was like,
No, maybe
He's
he's
doing
got
this, like-
maybe he's got a fire thing he likes. Who knows?
and then he would just quote. I'm assuming he would quote. He was from The Art of War,
yeah.
or just random stupid shit he made up.
I hated that whole. I hated when all of them like said things to their character of the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse.
What was,
it
like,
made me want to throw up?
What was with their fucking like Lobo hand signal in the beginning that did nothing or was never
Yeah.
brought up again in the entire fucking movie? They never did it again.
It's just the
It was
devil.
just that one fucking scene.
You Satan, I Satan. Woo. That's what they did.
We're in the club,
We're in a club together.
dude. We're going to the same place. I know
We're
you.
like he drove past him. Like it wasn't even like a
Dude,
big deal.
Okay, what are you doing, man?
There was a lot of things that I'm like, this doesn't add anything to the story. Like, why
This
are we?
movie doesn't add
Exactly.
anything to any of the story
I
or the
know.
lore or anything.
Nope.
Oh,
And the hair. I just couldn't with Edward Furlong and that hair. I was like,
there's a lot of things I just couldn't with Edward Furlong. It's just, I know at this point he was trying to make some sort of a comeback in his career, but
You know what? It's money. Okay, all right.
I also have to point out, I was like, why didn't they just hang him from some sort of apparatus in Iniquity instead of just
The yarn.
letting him stand there with the yarn attached to him?
And if you look at it, and because of Edward Furlong's horrible acting, you can tell he's like standing on
He's just
something and just
standing.
like,
Yeah,
and
he's
I'm
just-
like, and he can't stand still.
No,
to save his
not
life.
at all. I'm like,
At all.
just hang him in something so it at least looks like you got him hanging there, because it just looks like he's standing there with his arms in the air. Guys, come on.
Edward Furlong gave a master class in overacting in this film.
oh my goodness.
Oh, the eyes, the big eyes.
This don't do cage eyes. When he was like, look, when he was on the news, and he's like, I'm gonna kill you. Like, what? No, you're not. No one's afraid of you.
No one's scared of you.
The funniest thing, I think, in the whole movie that was unintentionally funny and not cringy funny, when Pestilence is tripping balls and the crow comes in and he's like, fuck your drink, and just takes the like umbrella out, and then when he looks at him, he's like, get off of me, hallucination.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, that's kind of funny.
No, I cracked up at that part when we watched it last night, because we watched it for the first time last night, when he throws the straw at him, because he comes in like this big bravado, like he's gonna do something, and you expect something because
Yeah.
the crow,
Yeah,
right?
he's, he's now the crow.
You expect that he's gonna stab him. I'm like, he throws a straw.
Is it a fucking Capri Sun straw?
Yes, it was. It was like a bird stick straw. I'm like, that's not even gonna do anything.
What was the point of that?
And then randomly he catches his foot later, and then it's just so bad because it's just like 4 seconds too long of him holding his foot.
He says a one-liner there that I'm like, he's like, blah blah, and then he pauses and I'm like, nope, that
Yeah.
wasn't worth the pause. Like that
No.
line was not good. There's no payout for that
And
pause.
every fight scene looked like a
It was
fight
choreographed.
scene from Buffy and or Angel, because they're fucking swinging and doing twirls in the air and shit. And
okay.
I'm like, what is this?
when Pestilence and him fight at the bar, there's like he's like, it's so like slow. Like when
it's almost like a slow mo.
Choreographed. Yeah.
Oh, hit. Like, oh my Jesus.
It's like the fight choreographers in the background. Okay, swing. Okay,
no, use. Okay, just cut. Jesus.
We'll just speed it up in post.
We'll figure it out.
And I think, I don't know, you guys got anything else left?
Okay, I want to talk about Edward Furlong for a little bit.
Okay, let's go.
So, I looked into it a little bit, and I didn't have time to look into it a little bit more, but I think I was getting Edward Furlong confused with Nick Stahl, because he did go missing for a while.
Okay.
But that stumbled me onto a thing that was called The Curse of Terminator.
Yes.
And it talked about how Nick Stahl was on drugs, and apparently, like, he went missing. Like, he was going through a divorce with his wife, and his wife reported, like, she didn't see him for, like, a couple weeks. Mm-hmm. She's like, but I think he's on drugs, and he's hanging around, like, LA's Skid Row. So then later, like, he called somebody from a friend's house, was like, I'm fine, I'm not dead, or, whatever. Don't know what he's doing now. I didn't look into it. But obviously, Edward Furlong has had his issues with substances and, divorces and whatnot. But I want to get a little bit more of his background in a second. But article also mentioned, Christian Bale, who famously like blew up on the set of Terminator Salvation and had his issues where like he punched his mom or something in fucking England. Like they got into a fight, but I guess no one charged or charges were dropped or whatever. So it never went anywhere. But I didn't know this about Edward Furlong, and then we all know that he's, had issues and stuff like that. But
it's a child star. They all have issues.
But okay, he was a child star, and I don't know if this happened before or after he was in Terminator. Never knew his father. His mother lost custody of him, and he lived with his aunt and uncle. And I think they were the ones that were his guardians when he started making movies. He sued and won emancipation at age 15.
Holy crap.
He was dating a 29-year-old who happened to be the on-set tutor that he met on T2 when he was 12.
What?
So, emancipated at 15, dating a 29-year-old tutor who ended up, I can be your manager. And we all see where his career went. They eventually got engaged, but then broke up. She sued him for a bunch of money, saying that he owed. I don't know if she won or not. Later, he was married to some other chick, and they got divorced. And I don't know. I don't know where he is now or what's he doing.
Well, thanks for just bringing the whole podcast down, Paul, because now everybody's just sad.
Yeah.
Why is everybody sad? This is just life, man.
Paul. We don't need to talk about life problems. There's a war going on right now,
saying.
Paul. We don't need to bring real life into this.
I'm just saying, you guys just shit on this man for no reason.
You shit on this man.
Shit on him for
You shit on him way more than we did.
You did.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
I shit on Tito Ortiz's horrible fucking fake tan and his goddamn like, I don't believe it, and then he dies. That was the most cringeworthy thing when fucking Edward Furlong is about to kill him. He's like, I don't believe it, and then he hits him
with a baseball
and then he
bat.
does a little twitch and like, okay,
that's it.
So you're dead.
Okay,
all right.
All right.
No more horrible acting. Thank you. Could have been the first one to die, please.
But that was Crow, Wicked Prayer.
It's El Nino.
You guys are welcome, by the way.
El Nino. Yes, blame Saul. It's his fault.
It's not my fault.
And I will say that last night I was very high after you made me watch this horrible movie, and I giggled. And I giggled a lot, and I said, now I see why Saul and Kim are together, because they both like horrible movies.
I never said I liked this movie. I knew how bad this movie was.
The fact that you made us pick it means you like this movie now.
And then I said, Aaron doesn't have a chance at all.
I never said I liked this movie. The only reason
okay, but you've devoted too much time into this fucking movie, into knowing the background of this piece of shit movie, that you were a fan of this movie, and I don't care if you like it or not.
I'm a fan of the franchise.
You were forever labeled as a fan of this movie.
And his Harry Potter haircut.
Hey, if anything though, this made a good episode with how bad it was.
I'm a wizard. You're a horrible human being. That was Crow, Wicked Prayer from 2005.
I was making fun of Jimmy Cuervo.
Jimmy Cuervo.
Jaime Cuervo.
The only white dude around, apparently.
Him and David Boreanaz and maybe like one cop.
David Boreanaz.
Yes.
Crash and burn.
Crash and burn.
Greenlit this script? Because they deserve to lose all their money, that's all I'm saying.
Who got paid for coming up? Okay, no, this was based on
Macy
a book.
Gray was in this movie. Why?
This was based on a book that was later turned into a comic that was later turned into this piece of shit movie. So all these people got paid for this piece of shit story.
There was no horror in this either.
No, there wasn't.
Like there was
the horror was watching it.
Horror was the acting in there.
And watching
there was
it.
no. Hey, quick. Okay, let's talk about Macy Gray, and then I want to ask a question before we go.
Okay.
All right. Macy Gray's death was probably the greatest thing.
She's
We're
hilarious.
doing this no matter what.
Dead or alive, bitches.
Okay. Well, I guess. Cara Mia.
And I love how he's sad. El Nino's sad that his,
he's like,
his
oh, my main shorty dead.
yeah, his main bitch just died. That's not
I'm
good.
gonna pour one out for my homie.
Or is it bottom bitch? I don't remember that South Park episode.
Bottom bitch.
Yeah.
It's the bottom bitch.
She was the bottom bitch. Cara Mia.
Yes.
Which always makes me
It's
think.
Carmia.
Always makes me think Adam's Family.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's supposed to be that way. You know, Cara
Macy
Mia.
Gray did really have that area in the 2000s where she was just in shit.
I'm telling
randomly.
you, it's money.
Yeah.
Because she was in Scary Movie 3
Yeah.
as well.
The corn maze, or no, it wasn't a maze. The corn, the ripoff of Signs.
yeah.
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 That's one of my favorite scary movies. I don't know why, because it's so stupid. It's just so fucking stupid.
I will watch every scary movie that had Brenda and Cindy in it because they are the best thing ever.
Because Brenda gets to say, "How the fuck through that?"
Oh,
That's
Brenda.
my favorite
She
fucking
is
Brenda
the
moment.
best. Speaking of Regina Hall and the Oscars, Chris Rock got his ass smacked by a bitch.
Regina Hall wasn't at the Oscars.
What was her name?
Regina King.
Oh.
Who was at the Oscars? Look it up. Regina King. Boom, bitch.
No, Regina Hall. Isn't
Regina
it Hall?
King.
Is it King? Which
Yeah,
one
it's
am I
King.
talking
You know there are
about?
two different people.
I know, and I
Regina.
never remember them. Now we're all confused.
Everybody confused?
We've gotten our Regina's confused.
Is this even going to make the end of the podcast?
This is going to be
We just need.
end of
Can we
the
just?
podcast.
We need to sign it off.
Post-credit
All
scene.
right.
No,
That was-
wait. Here's my question then.
Okay.
Okay, what's your question?
We'll figure that shit out later. But here's my question: who was the best actor in this whole movie?
Ooh.
Who gave the best acting performance?
The dog.
No, can't animals.
Can't
What?
count animals.
Who's Lily?
Lily.
chick.
The chick.
Well,
the
she's
one who
actually
got
okay.
killed.
No, but I'm saying like she's actually done stuff. She's actually went on to do other things. Like,
And I didn't even believe her in her lovey scenes with Edward
well, okay,
Furlong.
I'm assuming she had to kind of dumb it down to be like, all right, you're making the movie terrible. I'm making the movie terrible. Yes, you're
Like,
acting.
have you
too
seen
good.
everybody else?
You're acting too good. You need to bring.
I got to think about that.
Even
now.
Trejo's phoning it in. Come
Who
on.
was the best?
Boom.
Regina Hall. Okay, yeah, Regina Hall was at the Oscars.
I hate all of you.
Yes.
Don't ever question me again. Any of in this room about anything. All time is what I'm saying. Forever.
Yeah,
Well, we are
that's-
questioning you
that's
because we got to.
You pick this movie. Don't
Yes.
question anyone.
the best
Who was
actor
the best actor in this movie?
I'm gonna
lot of boogers in
say yes, there were. I'm gonna say War because he was the most committed. I feel to his persona.
I could see that.
So that's what I'm gonna
At
go
least he
with.
had a plan for his character.
Yes,
I could see that.
He had a plan. He had a backstory. He had.
He executed it.
He did.
I mean, he didn't
He knew
have
what
much,
he was going for, and
didn't
that's what he
have-
did.
He didn't have much to work with the material, so
Yeah.
yeah, I could see that.
I already said the dog, but you said he doesn't.
You can't count animals.
I'm sticking with the dog.
All right, I'm going to put you down for Famine then.
I'll pick him just to piss you off because you hated Tito Ortiz in this.
Oh, he's just terrible.
There you go. That's my
terrible.
pick. Tito Ortiz.
Fine, then I'm picking Pestilence. He was the best. I think we're done.
It's a choice, I guess. That
Hey.
was the Crow Wicked
He was an
Prayer
Asian cowboy.
Again, I have to say you're welcome because this was hilarious.
with a Harry Potter crow. God, what was this movie? Anyway, we'll be back next week.
You know
with
what it- you know what it was-
April film.
You know what it would? Blah, 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 blah. You know what would have made this movie better? And I can't believe I'm about to say this.
Uh-oh.
If it was more of a comedy and the Wicked Prayer, because it was set in Boston. Wicked Prayer.
It's a Wicked Prayer.
Jimmy Cuervo.
And Luke Crash and Lola Bird.
And a crash and burn.
And that was it, people.
That was it. We'll see you
Suffer
guys
through
next
this movie.
week. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
At the fridge Mama used to put me in.
She said it was damnation in there.